Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the powerful and ironic short story, A Letter to God. It's all about what happens when total faith and pure kindness crash into each other and lead to this incredible, unforgettable misunderstanding.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? This explainer gets right into that question. On the surface, this is a super simple story, but underneath, it's asking these huge questions about how we see the world, the nature of faith, and how even the best intentions can go tragically wrong. All right, so let's get into it. The story kicks off with our main guy, a farmer named Lencho. His whole world is basically his little house and his fields. But his faith, well, that's about to be put to the ultimate test. So here he is, Lencho. He's just a simple farmer, right? Super religious, and his entire life, his whole livelihood, is wrapped up in his cornfield. The story really hammers this home. He's got this unwavering faith, which means he has this total 100% trust that God has his back. And wow, this slide really shows you just how fast everything goes sideways for Lencho. He starts out so hopeful, just waiting for a little rain. Then the rain comes, and he's filled with joy. But that joy, it doesn't last. A nasty hailstorm just comes out of nowhere, and in a matter of moments, boom, his entire crop is gone. Just total ruin. So now he's facing actual starvation, him and his family. But here's the thing. He doesn't despair. He doesn't even get angry. Instead, he turns to the only thing he believes he has left. And he comes up with a plan that is so simple, so direct, it's almost childlike, It's just pure faith in action. He literally sits down and decides to write a letter. And in this letter, he asks for a very specific amount. 100 pesos. Not 1,000,000, not 1,000, just 100 pesos. Just enough to plant a new crop and keep his family from starving until the next one. And who does he send it to? You might be thinking a rich relative or maybe a bank. Nope. The address on the envelope is just to God. That one detail tells you everything. It shows you just how absolute, how direct his faith is. He genuinely believes God is going to get this letter in the mail and read it. Okay, so this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. Because believe it or not, Lencho's letter doesn't just vanish. It actually gets a response, just not from the place he was expecting. So the letter ends up with the local postmaster. And at first, he just cracks up laughing. I mean, can you blame him? A letter addressed to God? But then something shifts. His laughter turns into this deep admiration for the guy who wrote it. He's so moved by Lencho's incredible faith that he decides right then and there he can't let this man's belief be broken. And this postmaster, he doesn't just feel bad for the guy and move on. No, he takes action. He puts in some of his own salary and gets all his employees to chip in too, as, an act of charity. It's amazing, really. These are just regular people pooling their own money to answer a complete stranger's prayer. So they gather up all the money they can, stick it in an envelope to send back to Lencho, and they sign it with just one word, God. They're trying to do this amazing, selfless thing, right? They think they're protecting his faith by acting as God's anonymous helpers. And here it comes. This is where the story hits you with its final, ironic gut punch. This incredible act of human kindness, it's about to be totally, tragically misunderstood. Okay, so this chart shows you exactly where things go wrong. Lencho opens the letter, but inside, instead of the 100 pesos he asked for, there are only 70. The post office workers did their best, but their charity created this 30 peso gap. So how does Lencho react? Well, he's not disappointed in God. Not even for a second. In his mind, his logic is perfect. God is all-powerful, God doesn't make mistakes, and God would never deny his request. So there's only one possible explanation for the missing money: human greed. See, his faith in God is completely unshaken. It's his faith in people that's just not there. So without even a moment's hesitation, he stomps right back to the post office to write another letter to God to sort this mess out. And this is it, the devastating punchline of the whole story. He writes to God again, asks for the rest of the money, but he adds a little PS, a warning. Don't send it through the mail because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. He literally calls his saviors a bunch of thieves. And that's what we're left with, this really powerful question at the end. We spend the whole story focused on Lencho's unshakable faith. But what about the postmaster's faith? Can you just imagine his face reading that second letter? He performed this beautiful act of kindness, only to be accused of being a crook? So it makes you wonder, in the end, whose faith was really put to the test?